Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for tuning in for another action-packed show, as in this week's episode, we're discussing the topic of the healing vibrations of music. Also in this week's episode, we have myself becoming a channel for the world of spirit to bring their wisdoms and communications through in the form of channeling. And also in this week's episode, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which again will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So as I say, we're discussing the healing vibrations of music. And let's take it right back. So what I mean by this is everything is energy. Everything is frequency, vibrating at various rates. And this includes ourselves. This includes any objects that are around us, anything in nature. It's all vibration. It's all frequency at different rates. Now, with this being said, music is a great carrier of vibration. And this is why we're talking about it in this depth today, because interwoven into music, into the frequencies, into the vibration, is forms of healing, forms of alignment that brings forward restorative balance, energy, inspiration, and just generally feeling great. Now, I'm talking about music. Obviously, different sounds, different frequencies emit a different vibration, which will in turn, when put in a collective piece of music or an orchestration of some kind or composition, can form a unique healing pattern within its own composition there. With this being said, it can open up many blockages within you that you didn't consider were there. It can ease the emotional burden that you may be carrying just by listening to and being in the environment where music is being played, simply because of the vibrations, the frequencies interwoven within that piece. Having said that, the voice also contains energy, contains frequency, contains these healing vibrations that we're talking about today. For example, how many times have you listened to a meditation, and the person that's delivering the guided meditation has such a relaxed, gentle, multi-layered tone of voice? And what I mean by that is I'll give you a quick demonstration of that. So a multi-layered vocal sound for a meditation would be like this. You are now feeling calm, feeling relaxed, ready to drift off. Okay, so you can hear what I did there. Within that tone of voice, you would have heard a very low register, a very gentle, calm state of being, and also you would have heard the detail of the information coming through, the top end, as I would call it, in terms of frequency, that allows you to hear the clarity of the words that I'm speaking. So within that composition, or within that demonstration, should I say, of how meditations are created, guided ones anyway, already you can feel the change in mood. You can feel the energy shift changing within you, just listening to my voice and feeling in to those frequencies. And this was what puts you in that beautiful relaxed state, so that you're open to be in a position to again restore that harmony, reset your vibrations, and put you in that state of calmness. Now, if you can imagine, all of the elements and instruments within a musical composition all contains different frequencies within one element. So like I've just demonstrated with my voice, you could hear a bass tone, you could hear a mid-tone and a high-tone frequency, all within that one sound. And when done correctly, it can be very pleasing on an energetic level. And so within each instrument within a composition, they also have multi-layered frequencies. And when a producer or an engineer is recording those instruments, they're looking for the optimal instrument and the sound so that it doesn't overlap and clash with another instrument in terms of frequency. I'll give you an example. The classic one is a bass drum of a drum kit, okay, in a composition. Now that, as you know, contains multiple layers of frequency, mainly bass. It's focused on the bass and the punchiness of the low mid. And then you've got the bass guitar, which is also around that area, low end, sub bass, and then it is bass. And you can filter it right up until the high frequencies as well. So it's all down to, I would say, the decisions of the musician and also the decision of the music producer there, because they're looking for separation within both of those sounds. You see, if you had those sounds overlayering or overlapping each other, they would cancel each other out. So you wouldn't hear the bass drum going doof, 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 because the bass would be it would be cancelling that sound out because it is on a similar frequency band. So you can see the importance of a sound engineer and a producer there to make that definition, that distinction between the elements within a musical composition. And that principle is worked all the way through where it comes to music production. You're wanting that separation, you're wanting all these frequencies to sound and feel pleasing to the listener. And we all know when we've heard something that sounds a little bit too jumbled, a little bit too messy, it can make us feel a little bit uncomfortable and out of alignment, and it's not making sense to us on a sonic level or frequency level there. Potentially this is because all of those elements aren't and frequencies aren't to your pleasing, for one, and potentially it's the way that it's been recorded and produced could also have an impact upon how you react to it. With this being said, I would certainly suggest, and I know that we all do this already on a subconscious level, but I'm just bringing it more to your attention today, to observe your mood each and every day. Observe the way that you feel, your mood. And the reason why I say this is because you will feel magnetically aligned to certain sound frequencies that you require to either restore balance in your mood or to make you feel more high vibrational or more energetic. You'll just have a magnetic calling. And what I'm talking about here, we've all been in this situation where we're thinking, oh, I'm driving today. What shall I put on the stereo? Oh, I feel like that song today. I feel like listening to that album today. And I'm suggesting to you on some level there, the reason why you're feeling like you need to listen to that album or that artist today is because your essence, your energy body is craving those frequencies, those sonics, that healing that is interwoven within that composition in order to restore balance into your physical, mental, emotional, and energetic body. That's what I'm suggesting to you. And when you see it from this perspective, you'll appreciate music, sonics, frequency more so than perhaps what you have done in the past. Particularly in today's culture, music seems to be, this is my general observation, a bit of a throwaway commodity because it's easy come, easy go. We can stream it, we can hear it on, obviously, videos, TV, and, MP3s. Even that is phasing out now, sadly. as is the CD and obviously the cassette tape that went out many years ago. I do know it's still kicking around there. Vinyl's made a comeback as well, which is encouraging to hear. But a lot of these different formats are going in and out of fashion, and I would say because seems to be a culture where there's that throwaway commodity of music. I can take it or leave it. There's no respect for the energy and the time, the talent and attention that has gone into that piece in order for it to be produced and put out there. So I personally feel and think that when we understand what a drastic role music plays within our life, we'll then begin to gain more respect for it and actually treasure it more so than what we seem to be doing at the moment. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a bit of a geek where it comes to music and classic films and TV and things like that. And with music, I have lots of different formats. I have obviously vinyl. I've still got cassettes. I've also got CDs and MP3s, and I just seem to be obsessed with it, and I treasure it. And what I like to do when I'm listening to a composition is I like to feel into those vibrations. I like to be aware of how that's making me feel whilst I'm having that experience with that composition within the album there or the song. I also like to look at the artwork, like to have a little bit of background knowledge about the artist, show that respect and that sort of the whole experience. It's a whole experience for me, music is. So that's my personal opinion on music. But anyway, going back to what we're talking about, I would say when you're observing yourself, you will have a feeling, a magnetic draw to the music that you feel you need to listen to at that moment in time. And like we were saying, this is because it has healing vibrations, restorative frequencies within that composition that your physicality, your energetic body, your mentality may need in order to get balance restored within it. So the next time you get that magnetic pull, just bear this in mind, that it's a form of therapy, it's a form of medicine, it's a form of treatment for you without you even realizing it. And the only doctor that's prescribing this to you is your vibration. And you do this by following your mood and following that magnetic calling. Also, potentially, when you have a song rattling round your head for the best part of the day, some people call it now an earworm, where you can't seem to shake that song out of your head. I would certainly suggest that this is encouraging you. The reason why it's in your head, because you need to listen to the lyrics for one. There's a message in that for you. And more importantly, the sonics, the frequency, the interwoven healings within that composition is what you need to be experiencing in your vibration. Again, to put you in that state of balance and restoration there with your vibration. So go and listen to it. Go and listen to it. There's no excuse nowadays. As I say, we all have that ability to stream music. You don't have to own it anymore. You can look up on websites and listen to it. So you haven't got to purchase it as such. You can listen to it and just have that experience of that. So if you get that song in your head, there's no excuses. Go and check it out. Go and listen to it and observe how you feel within yourself before listening to that composition, and then observe how you feel after you've listened to that composition. You will notice, if you're paying attention, a subtle frequency shift and change in your vibration and your mood and even your mentality after you've listened to that piece of music. It's very magical. It's magical how this works. And this is something that I do on a regular basis. Some days I don't feel I need to listen to music. Other days I feel like I need to listen to music all day. It depends, again, on the mood, on what I'm feeling, what I'm observing within myself. So I would certainly recommend that you do this as well, as it will help you. It will change your vibration rapidly once you do this. Many of you know that my taste in music is very varied, and I can go from something from, say, Glenn Miller, right up to a heavy rock band like Iron Maiden, or a death metal band like Obituary, or something like that. And I like 80s pop, disco music. I like absolutely everything because it all serves a purpose vibrationally, energetically, and it shifts my mood and vibration. But mainly, I would say what I do reach for when I'm listening for music, my staple, if you like, is rock music, heavy metal, and death metal. Now, to many of you listening may think, well, why do you like that? You know, it's so loud, it's so noisy, I don't know what they're singing about. It doesn't make sense to me. I kind of get that, where you're coming from. Where I'm coming from, it heightens my mood, it lifts my spirits, it gives me energy. I feel the tones and the frequencies within the guitars, within the composition of the songs, the energy contained within the songs from the performance of all of those musicians as well. All of these elements combined and the frequencies really, they do something to me. I find it very soothing, very healing, and it relaxes me. So I can be listening to all of this screaming music and really fast-paced music. To anybody else, it may trigger them, make them feel uncomfortable. But to me, I feel so chilled, so relaxed, and I just feel energized once I've listened to that. So I do find that style of music very, very therapeutic for myself. But having said that, some days I may feel that urge or inclination to listen to something like pop music from the 80s. And the tones and the frequencies and the sentiment within the vocal line there really strikes a chord with me. And again, it puts me into that state of relaxation, changes my vibration. So it depends on the day, it depends on the mood to what I'm going to listen to. And as I've said to you all, before listening to it, I generally observe how I'm feeling. I may feel slightly tired that day. I may feel, uninspired that day. So I'm observing this, and then I listen to that composition of music, and then I notice the change in my mood, in the change of my frequency and vibration after doing that. 9 times out of 10, it has made a dramatic impact in my mood. It has shifted my frequency. I feel more supercharged with energy. In fact, most of the time I find myself interacting with that music. Now, this is going to sound very Wayne's World of me, for those of you that remember the films going back. But I run about the house doing some air guitar or air drumming. I maybe sing as if I'm performing at Wembley Stadium. And that in turn as well lifts my mood, lifts my spirit. I'm just pleased that nobody can see me doing that whilst I'm doing my house chores in the house. But it certainly does work, and it's something that I would highly recommend. Again, get out of this mindset that music is a throwaway commodity. It is not. It is very precious. It's very valuable. People talk about valuable metals such as gold and silver and copper and bronze and all of this, and they hold that in high esteem. For me, music I hold in the same high esteem, and it is very, very valuable, because I'm sure you'll all agree, when we've been to see a live act, a concert or some kind, the energy that is exchanged within that environment is absolutely phenomenal. It's hard to describe and to put into words unless you've actually been to one of these events. And obviously each group and each band that you go to see will emit a different feeling, a different experience with having seen them and been in the vibration where they're performing that music. I feel very fortunate and blessed that I've had the experience of being both sides of the coin, so to speak. And what I mean by this is that I've been in the audience, enjoying the music, dancing, singing, getting involved, feeling that cohesive energy that's binding everybody together in that environment. And also, I've had the opportunity, and I have actually had the experience of performing on a stage in front of vast amounts of people there. As you probably know, I'm a drummer, I'm a backing singer as well. And so the experience from that side of the coin is amazing also. You feel that energy exchange from the audience. You feel enlightened, you feel encouraged, energized, you feel really relaxed. You feel the sense of healing that is being given back to you. So I would certainly say, having experienced both sides of the coin, it is a two-way street when you are going to these events. So bear that in mind, that the band gets as much out of it as you do as a participant, as an attendee, if you will, at that concert. And it's a beautiful feeling. As a musician, a lot of us call this the day after. They call it a gig hangover. Not because you've been drinking or doing anything, untoward, but it's the energy exchange can be so overwhelming, overpowering. The day after, you feel like you need a little bit of time out in order to, get yourself grounded, find your feet again and just get in alignment again. This is because that energy is so potent and is so powerful that it puts you into that state. And I'm sure many of you that have been to concerts also feel this as well, the gig hangover. Obviously, your ears will be ringing as well. You'll be talking about it to your friends about the experience, but you'll feel a little bit drained, a little bit tired. And I would say that this is because a form of healing has occurred whilst you've been there. We're talking about this. This also leads me down a pathway of the fact that some of the placements of these venues, stadiums and all of that, imagine all of that energy that is soaking and being absorbed into those surroundings, into the land, into the energy grids. So it benefits all this frequency, all of this energy contained within music. It's very important. What I would like to share with you is something that I'm very pleased and proud to be involved with. And this is one of my latest albums. And it's a drumming circle album, a shamanic album, if you will, and it's combined with tribal drumming as well. And this album is entitled Hypnotic Drum Healing. And it's by myself, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. And I thought I'd take this opportunity while we're talking about the healing vibrations of music to share this experience and this product with you. And what it is, basically, like I say, it's an album that I channeled from spirit. I put myself in that relaxation state, and I felt the need to create a drum circle hypnotic healing album. And so how this unfolded is, as you know, I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, I'm a producer. So I gathered the instruments I felt I needed to bring this composition into form. So I'm using a shamanic healing drum. And this drum I'm using, I would say it's around 17 inches in diameter. And as you can imagine, it has multiple layers of sound, different tones, different frequencies. And again, you can tune this drum by drying out the natural hide on the drum, or allowing it to go slightly flabby, so to speak, allowing it to go slightly moist. And this creates varied layers of sound. So I was using that as an instrument. I was also using a djembe, which is a form of like an African drum that you use with your hands. And you play it similar, not always the same, but similar to bongos as well. And it's quite a large instrument, and you can get some fabulous tones and sounds from that. I was also using down-tuned bongos in this composition because I felt that the mood and the tone, it had to be toned down a little bit. Most bongos sound quite toppy, quite high-end, whereas in this occasion I felt I needed to tune them down slightly in order to get more resonance out of the drum. I was also inspired to use a thunder drum, and this is a very interesting piece. It almost looks like a Pringle tube, and it has like almost like the Pringle lid on one side with a giant spring on it, about a foot in length. And when you shake this tube, the spring rattles onto the plastic at the top, and it creates a thunderous sound that comes out of the bottom of the tube. So I was using that. I was also using other various things of percussion, such as tambourines, shakers. Also, I was using side sticks. I was using different styles of drumming mallets there as well. I was using my hands as well to play the shamanic healing drum. Mainly, most people don't do that, but I found with playing around with the tones on the drum, you could get some very fascinating hypnotic beats and also tones from it by doing that. So I was experimenting. Again, as I say, all of this album was channeled through me from the world of spirit, and spirit was giving me that guidance. So I had all of these instruments around me. I had microphones set up in the studio, and I was layering the compositions down. Okay. So, for example, I would just pick up I'd start a bass note, and I'd pick up the shamanic drum, and I'd lay the foundations down of a beat. And then I would feel the inspiration to pick up a different drum, and I would hear another pattern playing in my head, again, influence from spirit, and I would replicate that pattern or allow spirit to channel through me. This is where they took over my hands, and they played the performances through me in order to blend with the other elements, the other percussions and drums there on the composition. And, I had no fixed agenda other than I knew that I needed to channel through this hypnotic drum circle album. I didn't know what it was going to sound like. I didn't know the compositions, how it was going to turn out. I just trusted and allowed spirit to blend and work with me through this process. And in doing so, the intentions behind it was to help, to heal, and bring in those healing codes and ascension codes for everybody that listens to it or feels the music or has the experience of the music. That was the intention. And then all of this content, all of these pieces start to unfold into the recordings. So within each composition, there is a different mood, a different speed, a different sentiment that flows through. Again, all from my spirit team that were performing and playing this through me. And it was such a profound experience actually recording it, for one, because as we know that these sound frequencies, again, are very healing. So as an individual that was playing that, I was very chilled out. I was in a different world. I was so relaxed, so overwhelmed with these healing vibrations that were being emitted from these instruments, that it just put me into a state of relaxation where there was no resistance from me whatsoever. And with this being the case, it enabled me to be that clear channel for this music, these compositions to be birthed through me into the recordings. Now, obviously, as you know, I'm a music producer as well. And so it was quite an unusual experience because I was flipping between this, being in this trance-like state, to using the intellectual mind to operate the equipment and, machinery to record and capture these performances from spirit. So I was going in and out of consciousness whilst recording this album. And it was a very intense, I would say, I think it took me, a full day of recording and bringing all these elements forward. And at the end of that day, I felt absolutely drained, but in a state of euphoria. I felt mentally tired, but very accomplished, all in the same space there. And I just felt really sort of high, and I needed some sort of grounding. I needed to get myself anchored back into my normality to carry out the rest of my daily duties. But it took an entire day to record it, all of those parts. And if you can imagine, on some of the tracks, they may be 40 to 45 different parts. So imagine all of that times 4 songs. You're looking at a lot of work. That's just the recording stage. So all of those elements complement each other, and they come in and out of the composition in order to trigger that healing. As I say, with this album, it is a drum circle album, hypnotic drum healing. And it infuses, when you listen to it and experience it, it brings forward that calming feeling. It puts you into realignment. It also gives you a soul journey. It allows you to drift off and forget about your day-to-day grind. Once you allow yourself to absorb these frequencies upon listening to it and feeling it, because it is a multi-sensory experience, this album. With this being said, when I was producing the album, so recording and producing are 2 different stages. Producing is where you gather all of the session tracks that you recorded, and then you start to pan them and make space for each one of those elements. This is, like I was saying earlier, where you change the frequencies so they're not clashing or not overlapping one another. They complement one another, and you get the volume levels right. So whilst I was working and doing all of this, which is part of the production process, as you can imagine, listening to it again, and because of the hypnotic frequencies and the healing codes interwoven into this composition, I had to produce it. I had to chip away at it bit by bit, because it was putting me into a trance-like state every time I was working on it. So I had to chip away at it over the best part of a year in order to complete this album, simply because it was knocking me out every time I was working with it, in a good way. It was a marvelous experience. I just thought I'd tell you about the tracks on the album. So the first track is called Morning Call. The second track is called Deep. It's called Deep. The third track is called An Invitation of Hope. And the fourth track is called Rejoice. Now, all of these song titles, again, were brought through from Spirit. And the way that the album is constructed is, if you listen to it from track 1, Morning Call, right through to track 4, Rejoice, in that order, you will feel the healing vibrational codes and alignments that you are meant to experience in this healing drum circle journey. It is quite a phenomenal hypnotic experience when you give it some time. So if you are wanting to purchase this album and listen to it and have this experience for yourself, it is available from my website, which is www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com. If you go over to the shop tab, you'll be able to see this album on there. And it is available as an instant download. So what I mean by that, it's in MP3 format. So it will be downloaded upon purchasing to the electronic device you purchased the album from, and it will go into the download folder of that device. Once you have that, you can have this multi-sensory experience that I'm talking to you about today with this beautiful album. Again, all inspired and channeled from Spirit there. And it really is a fascinating encounter once you have this experience. So I hope this has given you something to think about and consider when you listen to music, or you feel that inclination to listen to a song or experience an artist live, and just appreciate the amount of healing energy and ascension upgrades within that piece of music that are happening, having a dramatic positive effect on you whilst you're listening to it and having that experience. Well, now we're going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of Spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for Spirit to bring their wisdoms and communications through. But just slightly ahead of doing that, I'd just like to check in with you all, see if your week's been a good one and what have you been experiencing? And I'll share with you what I've been observing within my life. I've noticed that I've been receiving a lot of spiritual or angelic downloads. And why I say this, my left ear has been ringing a really high-pitched shrill frequency tone for quite long periods of time, and then it fades out and then everything gets normal. But this has been happening, I would say, every couple of days recently. Also, I've noticed that I've been having some very vivid experiences when I go into sleep state. Some people could call this dreams. I believe I've been in a combination of really vivid symbolic dreams. And also, I believe I've been astral traveling there, going to different dimensions, because the level of reality that I saw was very tangible, very interactive, to the point where I recalled a lot of that detailed information, where normally if I was to have a dream, I wouldn't recall that information. So, and actually upon waking up from having those encounters, I feel slightly woozy, slightly different. It's taken me a while to come back into this dimension. I'm having to anchor myself there, do some movement to get the vibration going, and to be more present and aware of where I am in my life, because they've been so tangibly real. It's been really, really, really unusual these last few weeks. So I thought I'd share that with you, and just to put that out there, if anybody else has been experiencing a similar thing. I know that I've been told that ascension has been happening within my timeline, and my sensitivities have been increased, so that I can work with the gifts, with spirit, on a different level. So I'm very excited to be doing that. So anyway, we're going to move into the next segment of the show now, which is the channel section. This is where spirit come forward, and they bring forward some very interesting inspirational wisdoms that we all need to know, and maybe can benefit from listening at this moment in time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from spirit.
We are particularly excited to come through today and talk to you about a variety of things and subjects. Most of you will be experiencing a rapid change in your life and your experience, reaching to the end of a foredrawn conclusion in forms of a chapter in your existence. What we mean by that is a lot of you have reached the end of the cycle. We will use the term karmic cycle, meaning you have learned many lessons to take you to your next chapter in your life. This next chapter of your life is where things start to occur very seamlessly, very rapidly for you. Opportunities will come in. You will be greeted by new choices, a new vibration in which you will be vibrating at. So the level of self-worth will be amplified to the point where no longer will you accept things that aren't serving your highest good. And we know this sounds very obvious, but a lot of you have to reach the end of the line to come to this realization that all along you've had the opportunities, the answers, the abundance that you seek. It's just the fact that you have been blocking yourself from receiving it by maybe giving too much time and energy and attention to others, and not taking that responsibility of your own vibration, doing what brings you joy, because you have been overwhelmed with service, with serving others. There's nothing wrong in doing that. It's a very admirable feat in itself. But because you've been consumed by doing this, you have forgotten about the one key element that makes this possible, and that is your own free will, your own vibration, your own choice. So moving forward, we'll see you unfolding and changing things up slightly so that they work out in your favor and the balance is restored. Now, most of you will be thinking of this information as a selfish act, and we say it is not a selfish act to look after oneself and to heighten your vibrations and to be the best vibrational match that you can be in any one moment in your timeline. Nothing wrong with that, because when you're firing on all cylinders, so to speak, you'll have that abundance of energy to flow and give your time and your energy and attention to others. And therefore, the appreciation of your time and your energy will be valued that much more than what it has been in the past, simply because you have more respect for it for yourself. With this being said, the dramatic changes are going to have a ripple effect in your society. Not only will your observatories, the people around you and your friends, your family and loved ones notice this change in your consciousness and awareness, but also on a global scale there will be a shift and a ripple effect where people are starting to take that responsibility for themselves, and in doing so their environment will start to change, that of a heightened vibration, one that is in more fluidity with their own vibration. And so what you will all see as a collective is this mass awakening occurring, where people are creating their own communities, where people are making connections and forming their own tribes, so that they can flourish together and support one another in an equal match, not only vibrationally, but also in terms of resources. It will be shared accordingly within that community. Of course, there'll be tussling, there'll be toing and froing of energy, not making that alignment, but that is very similar to what has occurred in your previous history, on your timeline within the Earth. But what we will say is the vibrations are heightening to such a degree that the manifestation principles, if you adhere to them and if you honor yourself and your own vibration, will start to manifest experiences and things and materialistic things into your present moment consciousness. So whatever you need is always supplied and granted to you. It's only you that stops it from occurring in your reality. So we implore you all to look at things differently and start to observe that everything that you desire is already here. It's just waiting for you to match it on a vibrational level. So the next time you feel anxious or coming from that vibration of lack or fear state, we ask you to raise your consciousness and the level that you're thinking at in order for you to understand that it's already here. There's only you that's denying yourself the experience of having that in your experience, and this is by you thinking of a lower base frequency form, which indeed is attracting more of that into your current moment reality. And we say to you, a way to flip that script, so to speak, is to have that trust and that belief system that everything you need will arrive in divine timing, in divine order, when you hold that vision and that faith in your heart. So this message goes out to the mass collective that are feeling downtrodden. Now, a lot of you are experiencing changes in your government, or regional, or national, or local. And a lot of these changes are causing confliction, confusion, frustration, keeping you in the vibration of lack, fear, and worry. As you know, this is all done by design in order to keep you in that lower base frequency so that you cannot design a life and an environment that you desire. So we say to you, be aware of these changes that are occurring, that are trying to be enforced upon you in your local authorities and government, and so on and so forth. But do not give your power and attention to them. Take your power back for you. What do you want? Never mind the rules and regulations of the land. What would you like to occur, so long as you are not harming or hurting anybody else, and it's a win-win scenario, then there's nothing wrong with living in that vibration state. The majority of you that are listening will receive a miracle within the next 2 weeks, 14 days, in other words, upon listening to this transmission. The vibrations interwoven within this transmission for you today will help you flick the switch and connect in with your highest timeline. Now, as you know, this comes in many forms for various individuals. So what is right for one is not necessarily right for another. But we implore you to observe the way that you are changing and evolving after hearing this transmission, because you will be making more in alignment choices and decisions. You will be taking your energy and vibration back and making responsibility for it. And in doing so, these changes will be more obvious not only to you, but to those that are observing you. So thank you for listening for our ramblings and communications today. We'd like to leave you with our utmost respect, love, and knowledge and wisdom that you are safe, you are always guided, you're always protected, and what you seek is seeking you. Move out the way and simply allow that alignment of energy to unfold. Stop denying your divinity and your authenticity any longer. We send you our love, we send you our healing, and we send you our blessings. Goodbye for now.
Another incredible transmission there from the world of spirit. Always good to hear what they have to say. Nice to hear about these changing timelines, and also the end of a karmic cycle in our lives and moving into a new chapter within our life, which is always encouraging to hear, particularly when we're a gnat's doodah away from a new year entering. So that was very interesting. Also, the fact that we're going to have more self-worth, and when we do, our life will improve, and we'll also have an inclination to stop blocking ourselves from receiving the bounty, the abundance that perhaps that we've been manifesting or putting out into the universe. By being consciously aware that we've been blocking that from coming into our actual existence is a lesson into itself, isn't it? So I'm very grateful for that. And also hearing about restoring balance in our life, making sure that everything is working tickety-boo. And by doing that, we're going to flourish in our timeline within our life. Nice also to hear not to allow outside influences to control our vibration. This could be government, this could be society, it could be family, it could even be media, subconsciously trying to control our decision-making process. So although it can sound quite obvious, it's always encouraging to have that reminder, isn't it? And what I did enjoy about this transmission is they said that we would all receive a miracle within the next 2 weeks of hearing this transmission. So let's all observe where we're at in our lives now upon hearing this transmission, and just make some subtle notes of the subtle changes that are entering our life. Again, looking out for that miracle. So now we're going to move into the next section of the show, which is this week's forecast reading. So sit back, relax, take some notes if you wish to do so, and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for Monday, the 16th of December, 2024. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers, and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So I'm going to shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. So this is your card for this week. I'm now going to link into the vibration. First of all, I'm being told to just go with the flow this week as you are in the wind down process for the festive season. So with me saying this, it's telling you actually a lot of us have been in fight or flight mode where the adrenaline gland has been on overdrive, and we're just forcing and moving ahead and pushing ahead to the point where if we don't recognize that we're doing this, we could see ourselves going into burnout mode because we're doing far too much all at once. So it's telling you to relax, go with the flow, stop resisting these changes coming in, even if these changes are against your routine, your busy schedule there. This is for the betterment of you and those around you, where you're going to be more relaxed and more open to where life is governing you to go. Also, this week we'll see you taking time out just for you. And what I mean by this is maybe reading, a little bit of arts and crafts, something to just relax your mind. And again, to take it out of that busy, got to get this done, got that done. All of these jobs and things that you think you have to do, you don't at all. Instead, you're being encouraged just to wind down slightly. And the reason for this is so that you're more open, more receptive for new high vibrational frequencies and codes to be installed into you. And what I mean by this is opportunities coming your way that you've never perceived before as an opportunity. And with you relaxing into life a little bit more, you're going to be more aware of them and more receptible, if that's the correct word, in order to receive them and to actually say yes to life rather than saying, no, I'm too busy, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. You see what we're saying? You're forcing life out of your timeline by doing that. Relax into life. Everything's working out in divine order for you. This week we'll also see you monitoring the way that you correspond with people, the way that you speak as well. And what my guides mean by this is there'll be moments, should we say, of you editing the way that you speak and holding back some of your communications because you haven't thought it through properly. And the repercussions of what you're about to say, if you were to say them, could cause some sort of harm or disruption on your timeline. So just pause before you speak, and this way you'll be leaving yourself out of trouble there. Watch out for the eyesight this week. I do feel as though there is an ascension coming with your vibration, and you'll notice that your eyesight will be going in and out of focus, and it will see you rubbing your eyes a little bit more than perhaps you would do. Nothing medically, you must understand. This is vibrationally, where you are going to be observing different movements of light, different shadows and things occurring around you. This is you looking into different dimensions, although at the time you don't realize that this is what's happening. You just feel as though that you've got a bit of fluff or dirt in your eye and you've just seen it there. But no, it's actually vibration that is changing as well. Watch out for your breathing this week as you begin to wind down for the festive season. For some reason or other, your breathing will be short and shallow. Again, as your body relaxes into life, you need to relax your breathing and slow it down and just calm down. Get out of that adrenaline mode that my guys have just been talking about there and relax into life. And you'll start to appreciate life as it is rather than projecting your thoughts into the future too much of things that haven't happened yet. So just appreciate what is as it is unfolding for you right here, right now. So we're going to turn over the card for you. Okay, and the card, let's read the bottom for you at the moment. It says logical, perceptive, insightful, blunt, an exciting intellectual challenge, brilliant insights, information that you need but might be challenging to receive. Review all documents very carefully. So to me, I would say that you going into that relaxation mode in the wind down for the festive season is going to make you more receptible to these beautiful blessings that are coming in. I do feel as though they're blessings in disguise. If you were in fight or flight mode with the adrenaline, you would push these opportunities away and say, I'm not doing that, or that looks too hard, that sounds too hard. So just go with the flow, and I feel that that is what that is telling you. We have the letter of P there at the top. To me, that indicates patience. Have some patience, because what you've been manifesting, what you've been praying for or asking the universe for is on its way to you. Now you've relaxed into life more so this week, you'll start to see it present itself in your timeline. So do watch out for that, and you'll be very amazed when it does come into your life. You'll be pinching yourself, and these opportunities will be very subtle, yet they'll mean so much to you. Not necessarily to everybody else around you, but it will mean so much to you that you are now having that evidence that you are in true alignment with your true self and your calling and your path there. On the other side, we've got a turbulent tornado there. Excuse me. That could indicate wind of change, things being blown out the way. in order to make space for the new coming into your life. Again, this would resonate with opportunities coming in, people coming in, connections coming in. So if for whatever reason, if people leave your life or go about their own business, let them do that, because something better is on its way to you. So trust the process. Let's look at around the artwork of the card. Around the edge, we've got this, I would call it a green. It's a very tepid green color, isn't it there? So that's talking about growth. It's talking about the go ahead, but taking your time, not rushing into anything. And also this would have a reflection on your heart chakra. Again, I feel as though it's telling you to take your time, be patient, don't rush things. Open up your heart, let people get to know the true essence of you. And also what this card is telling you as well is it's telling you to be gentle with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Show yourself a little bit more self-love than perhaps you have been doing throughout the course of this year. At least in this month, you can start to begin to benefit from that beautiful person and light being that you are. Recognize that, align with that, and actually, when you get comfortable of accepting that you are a beautiful soul, then this is where everything starts to fall into place within your life. Looking into the artwork, we've got this masculine energy. That's talking about, as you can see, is sat down on a log there, or a rock. It's a rock, isn't it? So I would say that is telling you to, again, slow down, stop trying to control everything, stop trying to push everything, because the more that you're doing that, the more harm you're doing to yourself and those around you. Relax, take some time out, ground yourself, be present, anchor your energy in your present moment consciousness. As you can see, he's holding a sword, but he's holding it downwards there as well. So that's telling you to relax, let your guard down, let people in, let people get to know you, relax into life a little bit more. You'll be surprised what occurs when you do this. There's lots of butterflies around this gentleman, so that would indicate transformation in your life will occur once you listen to your calling, you listen to your truth, and listen to your body, because your body will be telling you to slow down, to calm down a little bit, not to push forward too much, and just have that healthy balance in your life. When you do that, opportunities will come to you. Like these butterflies are hovering around this gentleman. They will come to you, and also that transformation, when you accept it, will flourish within your life. And I don't just feel as in one area of your life, I feel as though it will affect every area of your life in a positive way, getting you prepared for the year of 2025. So that's what I picked up for this week's energy forecast reading. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed this reading, I have got a buy me a coffee link either above or below this video. And this is a virtual tip jar. So all of your generous donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do to help people raise their consciousness and awareness on their pathway. If you would like to book in with me with any of my services, private readings or 12-month forecast readings, head over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, message me there, or contact me directly on my Facebook page, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, and then I'll send you the relevant information there. Join me every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Have a fabulous week, everybody. Bye for now. Very interesting week ahead by the sounds of things, and I'm probably not the only one that's looking forward to some downtime and to some slowing down, because this year, as much as I've enjoyed it, it's been very, very hectic, very, very busy, and I've been steaming away ahead, and I'm sure most of you listening have been doing the same. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's show, and I hope you can take something from it, from the channeled information, from the spiritually inspired information that has come through in this show and this episode. If you do have any questions to the show, please send me a message at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. It would be absolutely tremendous to hear from you and to get your feedback on the show as well. It's always interesting to get that interaction with the listeners. So you can join me the same place, same time next Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, with this very show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Have a fabulous week, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information, about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddice spiritualmedium.com.